Hello, and welcome to today's video from the Polaris Orchestra. Aware of the inequity on American stages, Polaris is an ensemble dedicated to addressing the exclusive nature of the orchestra. Please lend us your support by visiting our website at polarisorch.org. That's POLARISORCH.org.
Hi, my name's Brian, and I'm a horn player in the Polaris Orchestra. Today's Tuesday talk is about a particular portion of horn history that I find very interesting. So obviously this is our modern horn now, but it didn't always look this way. Before 1820 or so, the horn didn't have valves. So it was basically just a long tube with a mouthpiece at the end and the bell at the other, and that was about it. And because of that, it could only play, it was very limited to what notes it could play, and it had these notes available to it. Some other ones that go a little higher, but that's the gist of the idea. So up until about 1750, those were basically the notes that composers had available to it. So the horn was limited to a harmonic role sort of in the back of the orchestra, just sort of filling out the sound of the ensemble. In 1750, hand technique was sort of developed and was starting to become a regularity that composers would utilize. I'm going to play a scale with hand technique and without hand technique so you guys can sort of see what the differences were in the sound. First, without hand technique. And now with hand technique. So clearly a different sound. Some of the notes are a little more covered, some muffled, some have a little stopped brassy quality to it. But that's what composers had at the time, so they worked with it. One composer that went above and beyond was Mozart. Mozart, over the course of his life, wrote 4 horn concerti, all of which are still regularly performed today. They were composed for a horn player of the day named Joseph Leutgeb, who Mozart and Leutgeb were friends. They had a great relationship, and Mozart often wrote little jabs at the horn player in the scores of his pieces. But to that end, Mozart really understood how the instrument worked more than almost any other composer. And it's really highlighted in the second movement of his third concerto. So I'm going to play 8 bars of that movement, first with valves and then without valves, so you guys can hear the difference between what a more modern sound sounds like, what today's sound sounds like, and then what something would have been heard in the 1780s. So there was with valves. Obviously, my hand didn't move at all. And now I'm going to play it without valves so you guys can see what hand horn technique sounds like on this particular passage. So it definitely has a different character, a little bit of a different charm to it, but that's what they had back in that time period. And we're also very grateful to Mozart for having written such wonderful music for the horn in his lifetime. But as time wore on, the valves were created in the 1820s. Some composers didn't like the sound of the early valved horn, and so they continued to compose for the natural horn. And one composer that really took that idea to the heart was Johannes Brahms. But anyways, so we have valves being created throughout the 19th century and natural horns still being played throughout the 19th century. And eventually, for better or worse, the valves went out, and about the turn of the 20th century, you really start to see the modern double horn design, which is what is still largely in use today. That sort of wraps up the time I have. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's always fun for me to talk about it, and have a good one.
If you would like to help the Polaris Orchestra continue on our journey, please visit our website at polarisorch.org. That's POLARISORCH.org. Please hit that donate button and give as your heart desires. No donation is too small, for every dollar makes a difference. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to continue to share our lives and our music with you.